Anyone who travels much on airliners in the United States soon gets to know the voice of the airline pilot, coming over the intercom with a particular drawl, a particular folksiness, a particular down-home calmness that is so exaggerated it begins to parody itself. Nevertheless, it's reassuring. The voice tells you that as the airliner is caught in thunderheads and goes bolting up and down 1,000 feet at a single gulp, to check your seatbelts because it might get a little choppy. The voice tells you on a flight from Phoenix, preparing for its final approach into Kennedy Airport, New York, just after dawn. Now, folks, this is the captain. We've got a little old red light up here on the control panel that's trying to tell us that the landing gears are not locking into position when we lower them. Now, I don't believe that little old red light knows what it's talking about. I believe it's that little old red light that isn't working right. Long pause, as if to say, I'm not even sure this is really worth going into. Still, it may amuse you, but I guess to play it by the rules, we ought to humor that little old light. So we're going to take her down to about, 200 or 300 feet over the runway at Kennedy, and the folks down there on the ground are going to see if they can't give us a visual inspection of those little old landing gears, with which he is obviously on intimate old buddy terms, as with every other working part of this mighty ship. And if I'm right, they're going to tell us everything is copacetic all the way around, and we'll just take her on in. And after a couple of low passes over the field, the voice returns. Well, folks, those folks down there on the ground, it must be too early for them or something. I expect they still got some sleepers in their eyes, because they say they can't tell if those landing gears are all the way down or not. But you know, up here in the cockpit, we're convinced they're all the way down. So we're just going to take her on in. And, I almost forgot. While we're taking a little swing over the ocean and empty some of that surplus fuel we're not going to be needing anymore, that's what you might be seeing coming out of the wings. Our lovely little ladies, if they'll be so kind, they're going to go up and down the aisle and show you what we do call assuming the position. We do this so often, and it's so much fun, we even have a little name for it. And the stewardess, a bit grimmer by the looks of them than that voice, starts telling the passengers to take their glasses off and to take the ballpoint pens and other sharp objects out of their pockets. And they show them the position with the head lowered, while down on the field at Kennedy, the little yellow emergency trucks start roaring across the field. And even though in your pounding heart and your sweating palms and your broiling brain pan, you know this is a critical moment in your life, you still can't quite bring yourself to believe it, because if it were, how could the captain, the man who knows the actual situation most intimately, how could he keep on drawling and chuckling and drifting and lollygagging in that particular voice of his? Well, who doesn't know that voice? And who can forget it, even after he is proved right and the emergency is over? That particular voice may sound vaguely Southern or Southwestern, but it is specifically Appalachian in origin. It originated in the mountains of West Virginia, in the coal country in Lincoln County, so far up in the hollows that, as the saying went, they had to pipe in daylight. In the late 1940s and early 1950s, this up hollow voice drifted down from on high and over the high desert of California, down, 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 from the upper reaches of the Brotherhood into all phases of American aviation. It was amazing. It was Pygmalion in reverse. Military pilots, and then soon airline pilots, pilots from Maine and Massachusetts and the Dakotas and Oregon and everywhere else began to talk in that Poker Hollow, West Virginia drawl, or as close to it as they could bend their native accents. It was the drawl of the most righteous of all the possessors of the right stuff, Chuck Yeager.